Hey, everybody. Welcome. I am Louise Pistole of Discover Your Joy. November is National Gratitude Month, and I am here today with Ed Piotrowski, who is the head meteorologist for WPDE in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Welcome, Ed, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you very much, Louise, for having me on. I'm glad to be here. I've been at this station in Myrtle Beach now for 30 years in January 10th of this upcoming year. I'm from a military family. My dad was in the Marine Corps for 30 years, so I was born in Hawaii, traveled all around the country, and eventually went to North Carolina State University in Raleigh, where I got my degree in meteorology. And as I mentioned, I've been in Myrtle Beach now for nearly 30 years.
Wow. Okay. I was just checking here one of our settings that I wanted to save. But now I knew you had been there a long time. I did not really realize it was 30 years. That's maybe somewhat unheard of, but I know Myrtle Beach loves having you.
I appreciate
And
that.
yeah, and you've won a few awards there too.
Yeah, I just get lucky, I guess. But that award to me is my viewers accepting me. I mean, that's who matters the most to me. And as long as they accept me and appreciate me, then I feel like I've accomplished my goal in my career.
Yeah, and I noticed your posts. I mean, you do get lots of comments and lots of likes and all. And that does mean that your followers really do like you and what you do. And it may seem unusual for me to invite a meteorologist to talk with us today about gratitude. So I want to
Mhm.
share a short little piece of the backstory there. My husband and I have a coastal cottage just over the state line from Myrtle Beach. And I started following Ed's weather reports because it's the closest major station to our location. And it wasn't long until I realized Ed also posts lots of things about gratitude and positivity among the weather forecast. And I jumped right on that. So I want to read you one of them and get your response on this, Ed. So this is one that he had posted on Facebook, and it says, "Be thankful for all of it: the highs, the lows, the blessings, the lessons, the setbacks, the comebacks, everything." And can you tell us what you were thinking when you wrote that, or what it means to you?
A lot of times when I post things like that, it's stuff that I have seen that have inspired me or made me think about my life as a whole. And nobody has the perfect life. We all have our ups and downs. And especially for me, I lost my brother at the age of 31 to cancer about 15 years ago. And that was a devastating thing. But at the same time, it taught me a lot more about how every single day is very important with your family and your friends, and not to take that for granted. And that's the life I try to live, is to find something good in every day, even when the day isn't necessarily going as you want it to. There's always a lesson of some sort that you can get from every day, even if it's not a good day.
Yeah, and that's maybe the thing to look for, as people often will tell you, look for something good in the day. But if it really was just truly a bad day, then maybe there is a lesson there, and that's what we need to be looking for a lot of times.
Sometimes
But here's
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I said, sometimes it's just, it's been a really, really bad day. You're just like, well, I don't want to have another day like that. So I will not be doing that particular thing because it does not bring me joy. So, that's always something.
There you go. And I actually just recently had a day like that where a morning podcast fell apart, and it was really a time zone conflict. The girl was in London, and then I was supposed to have a company show up to do some work. They got all confused. It was like everything I had planned for the day didn't go right. But it's been better days since then. So I do have one other one I wanted to read. Be happy with the little that you have. There are people with nothing that still manage to smile. Talk to us about that one a little bit.
I see a lot of people that will accumulate a lot of wealth, and not everybody, but a lot of times you accumulate a lot of wealth. That doesn't necessarily bring you happiness. I grew up in a Marine Corps family where we had no money. We lived on the base, and we basically had to stick two houses together so that the six of us, me and my mom and dad, and of course my three brothers and sisters, had to basically make ends meet. And when we talk about Thanksgiving, for example, we used to have to go to the mess hall on Thanksgiving Day because we could not afford, a full turkey dinner. And those were some of the best times in my life because it's just me and my family, and we were grateful to have a meal. So little things like that can be absolutely huge in anyone's life, I think.
Yeah, and when you've been there, then you probably have a deeper appreciation. And I do hear that from people that are now struggling, and then as things become better for them, they probably have more appreciation than people that had, we'll say, everything all along.
It,
Okay, I do have one more I want to read and share here. Today, be thankful for how rich you are. Your family is priceless. Your health is wealth. Your time is gold. And that is powerful. Talk about it, if you will.
time is what it is. It's a thief. It's going to take all of us at some point. That's pretty much a given. So I try to, obviously I like to lay on the couch once in a while and do nothing, but I really try to use my time to spend with my family, authentic time with my family, but also to try to spread joy in the community that I serve. For example, I like visiting people on their birthdays just to, if they invite me out, I'll come on out if I can, just to bring a little bit of joy to their lives. So, and I forgot the first part of that quote, so you'll have to tell me it again.
It said, today be thankful for how
Oh yeah,
rich you are. Your
right.
family
And
is priceless.
exactly. And as I mentioned, losing my youngest brother at such a young age to cancer really makes us appreciate every moment that we all have together now. And my mom and dad actually live with my wife and I. We moved them down 10 years ago from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Just I felt like they were living the die there. And so they've been here now for 10 years, and it's like they're on permanent vacation. So it's great that the whole family's within 4 hours and we can get together and celebrate.
Yeah, that is nice. And I did see the pictures of them going to the Marine Ball with y'all.
Yeah,
And that y'all were two lovely couples for sure.
we had a good time.
How did you become such a grateful and positive person and then decide to share it online with your followers?
Bottom line, as we all know in social media, it can be an absolute just horrible place to be. Many times it can be very superficial. It can be very mean to people. And I just made it a point, outside of obviously hurricanes that I've got to sometimes deal with, that is not good news. I decided probably 5, 6 years ago, I'm not going to post anything but positive stuff on my page because there is so much negativity out there. And then I would, read inspirational quotes and see things. And I'm like, gosh, that really has helped me. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to use my platform to share these with people, and maybe somehow it will help them as well. I never in a million years thought it would help as many people as it did. I mean, the amount of people that tell me how much they appreciate those positivity messages has just been overwhelming, and I appreciate that so much.
Well, I enjoy them. And of course, I have a number of friends that also follow you. And we do talk about, some of the quotes. Well, now, did your parents encourage the gratitude while you were growing up?
Yeah, my dad was not the Santini. He was a Marine for 30 years, and they were both very strict, but they absolutely taught us how important it was to make time for family. And we did that every single year. We when we were home, we celebrated together. Often we would go visit grandparents and in New Jersey or wherever they may be. And we were just really close, and we were lucky to have a mom and dad who really instilled that importance of being with family and developing those relationships, making that the most important thing that we do. And it's the same with my wife and I. We don't have any children, but no matter how busy we get, we always make time for us because that's ultimately what matters.
Absolutely. What are a few things that you are most grateful for? I know your
Well,
family's at the top.
absolutely, no doubt about that. My wife is amazing. I definitely married up. She's just the most tender-hearted, caring person you'll ever meet. Her mother moved down here as well, so we sort of helped take care of her. But I think, at least from a professional standpoint, I love talking about the weather, and I've been so grateful for 33 years as a career to be able to basically do my hobby. I get paid to talk about the weather, and I absolutely love it. But I also love the fact right before you and I came on, I had a tour of third graders from an elementary school in Georgetown. So just to see their faces and see how much of a wow factor it is to be at a TV station, I just feel like I'm able to use my platform again to just bring positivity and good to our community. And I'll do that until I retire and probably still do something afterwards.
That is amazing. But now I do want to switch gears here just for a moment and chat about your interesting and colorful holiday suits. Tell
Right.
us, what is the story behind that?
So I have a friend of mine who is a meteorologist in the Boston television market, and every year he gives a winter forecast. And one year he was wearing the blue and white snowflake suit, and I said, "Eric, I got to get that suit. Where'd you get it?" So he told me. So I wore it, and again, it just the amount of people responded to it, thought it was the coolest thing. I wore it in parades. I wore it on television once. So I decided after that, the suits are not very expensive. They're less than $100. So I decided for these holidays like St. Patrick's Day and some other things that I do, I'll wear these and hopefully spread some joy and wear them in parades, and people just seem to love it. And I've probably got 15 to 20 different holiday suits that I wear throughout the year.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was that many. I have seen a
There's a
lot
lot.
of them in the picture. Now, what does Cindy think about your suits, your wife?
She has a great sense of humor. She absolutely loves them. In fact, for Thanksgiving this year, she's already got an outfit picked out for me that her and I are going to wear. And Cindy's actually been in some of our commercials as well. We like Christmas Vacation, that movie. So we've done some That's What Ed Said commercials, which is a promotion on TV where I was dressed as Clark and she's dressed as Clark's wife. And for some reason, her name is, I'm drawing a blank. Ellen is her name in the show. So she's funny and she's somewhat of a character too. So we are two peas in a pod. That's probably a good way to put
Oh
it.
my gosh, that is amazing. Now, I
Well,
don't want to skip over your position as a meteorologist
sure.
while we have you here. So, I'm wondering if you have a long range winter forecast for the Myrtle Beach area.
Yeah, and we're in what we call an El Nino right now, and it's a strong El Nino. And without getting into the big details, in the end, what that does is it increases the strength of the subtropical jet stream, which basically means we should have a wetter than normal winter and cooler than normal winter, but not necessarily frigid. If we get any really cold air, it probably will be short lived. And then the question is, does the cold air time up with the moisture? If we get snow, it's rare, but it can happen. But I would count on a cool and wet winter, not only in Myrtle Beach, but even in North Carolina as well.
Yes, that's kind of what they're predicting here
Mm-hmm.
in the Charlotte area. Now, I was at the beach, I believe it was last winter, and it could have been the winter before when it did snow in that Myrtle
Oh
Beach
yes,
area.
yeah.
I was just like, oh my gosh.
We had 3 Saturdays in a row in 2021, I believe, where we had snow on the weekend. One of those Saturdays, this is what I mean about Cindy. On a Friday, we decided to fly to Boston so we could both play in a blizzard on that Saturday. And we got 24 inches of snow and had a great time up there, just taking in a blizzard. It was fun. You're in Charlotte, huh? So the best man at my wedding was Eric Thomas, who retired from WBTV in Charlotte.
Oh, yes. Of course, we all know Eric, and he just retired also
Yes,
recently. Yes.
big time.
One other thing that I did notice, and you've kind of touched on this, is that you are deeply involved with the local community in many capacities there. And talk to us about that and how that came about. I feel like that ties into this gratitude and
Right.
positivity somehow.
It really does. I appreciate that people watch me on television, so I like to serve the community. And because I'm on television, people will often reach out and ask, would you like to MC this event? Will you come visit our school children and teach weather? And so I really, really enjoy that. And as much as doing it for them, it really is great for me because I get to meet people every day with different stories, different backgrounds. I get to know these people, and these are the people that watch me on television. So I feel like I'm developing a relationship and a rapport with the people that I serve each and every day. And I get a lot of joy out of it as well. Tomorrow night, I get to MC another Veterans Ball at the Market Common in Myrtle Beach, even though Veterans Day is past. So that'll bring me joy. Cindy and I are going to go to that and just see a lot of veterans tomorrow night.
Well, that sounds great then.
Right.
And I did see where you had emceed an event just in the last few days, even.
Yes, I did the tree lighting ceremony out at Broadway at the beach, and I'll dress in one of my famously funny suits for the lighting of the at Barry. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I knew that that would kind of fit in with the grateful and positive
Mm-hmm.
personality that you have. In 2021, I'm kind of changing gears again. In 2021, I published a book, Discover Your Joy. It's a daily inspirational book about joy. And then the following year, I released a book, Experiencing Joy Through Gratitude, which is a gratitude book slash journal. So, joy and gratitude are topics I talk about every day. We've talked a great deal today about gratitude, but Ed, I wondered if you have any thoughts about joy specifically you can share. Now, you've mentioned already several things that brought you joy or that you think bring joy to other people, but just talk to us about joy in your life for a little bit.
You know, as I mentioned before, I'm so lucky to have a job that is more of a hobby for me. So the fact that I can come in every day and I can do what I genuinely love to do and to talk about the weather just brings me a lot of joy. You know, sitting on the couch with Cindy watching a program on television, that brings me joy as well. And the one thing I won't do is allow people to steal my joy. Other people, if they're down, or not necessarily down, but if they're not necessarily nice people, I'm not going to worry about that. I can't control that. I wish them well, but I will not let anybody steal my joy. And I hope nobody out there does. It's a waste of time letting others steal your joy. Live your life to its fullest, because we all, and I know it sounds cliche, we don't know when the day's going to come when we're no longer here. And you don't want to look back and wish you had done certain things. So take the trip, buy the shoes, whatever it may take, bring joy to your life.
You know, that is interesting you would bring up about steal your joy, because that is something that I have talked about a great deal. And you're absolutely right. We cannot afford to let people steal our joy. Um, there's just too many consequences to that. But during the month of November, up until Thanksgiving Day anyway, everybody is talking about the things they're grateful for, and then it all goes away till the next November. What if we all lived like it was Thanksgiving Day every day? Not necessarily the food, but make gratitude our daily focus. What are your thoughts on that, Ed?
I think there's no question people should be grateful and thankful every day. Whether somebody is a believer of God or not, every night before I go to bed, the very first thing I pray for is just I'm thankful for everything that I have in my life. Because I know there are people out there that don't have all the things just to make ends meet, or are trying to find water or food or whatever it may be. So I'm thankful every single day for what I have. And I always, of course, pray for people that are still searching for their joy and gratitude. And that's just what I do every single day before I go to sleep, and, ask God to give me the energy to do it all over again tomorrow.
Excellent. I love that. So, one last question that I do ask all my guests. Do you have a favorite quote or verse about gratitude to leave with our listeners today?
Gosh, I feel like I have 1,000 things in my head, but my head gets all jumbled and scattered. So I don't really have one off the top of my head that I can share outside of the fact that, I love that phrase about don't let anybody steal your joy. I think it just does uh, hurt people so much in the long run when they have to deal with what other people are doing to them, and just to break free from that and be happy with what you have and find the joy in what you have. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of stuff. You just need people that are authentic and care for you, and you'll be a millionaire in that way.
That is beautiful. Okay, and thank you today for both your time and insights. We appreciate everybody who's listened in today. For people that missed it, I will post a replay shortly for that. We want to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving next week. And add any parting words before we go.
Just folks, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Be so grateful for what you do have. And if you're able to get around with your family, enjoy them immensely, because again, you never know when you might see them for the last time.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks everyone.